APD music director of KS 107.5 in Denver, Colorado. But I first heard of her when I moved back to North Carolina in 2015, when she was on air at 102 JAMZ, the local legendary station in the Triad. Welcome my guest to Women in Programming, Toshamakia, to the show.
Yes, girl.
There we go. Listen, I struggled through that a little bit, even though we just said it.
Yeah, we were practicing my name behind the scenes before this all started. You did so good. Thank you for that introduction. That was amazing.
Yay, I'm glad you loved it. Thank you, and thank you for being here. I appreciate you coming in. Of course, you guys are very, very busy. I'm learning this as I go along because I think a lot of people don't realize I'm also an APD of my station and how busy we are on a regular basis. So
yes.
When you said yes right away, I was like, yes, thank you, Jesus.
Oh, thank you for thinking of me, girl. You crazy? Thank you.
So let's go into your background history a little bit before we start asking the questions about, women in programming and your journey into programming.
I was an artist. Before all of this, I was an artist. I had an amazing team. I had a single out. We were touring, we were moving, and there was a lot going on in my life to try to get short about it. So being an artist, I saw behind the scenes. I've always loved being on stage. I always loved writing. I loved all that, but there was a lot of things I was just like, I don't want to be that deep into the industry. And at the time, my manager, Eddie Velez, amazing guy, still great friend till today, was like, you're supposed to be helping people in the world. You're supposed to be helping women. And I was like, whatever, you don't understand. But at the time, I was going through such a toxic, abusive relationship. So all I wanted to do was get in the car, go on tour, not think about it. Until one day, I'm from Bridgeport, Connecticut. Shout out to Connecticut. Love you guys. Victor Starr actually gave me a chance. We were on tour. We came back to Hot 93.7 in Hartford, Connecticut. At the time, he was the program director. And now my boss, actually, DJ Buck, is the program director there. An amazing person. So he gave me an opportunity to jump on radio. And I can't even remember the conversation in totality, but we did an interview. He said I had a great personality, offered me a position. And I was like, yeah, right. Went back on tour and I'm like, what do you talk about when you're on the radio? Like, how do you change the conversation every day and not do the same thing? So went back on tour and it wasn't my thing. And I needed a place to release. And I didn't know I needed a place to release. And so cracking the mic actually became addictive. And that's how I got my start in radio. I started in Hartford. From Hartford, I went to Philadelphia. Big shout out to Kobe Cole. He gave me a big opportunity. Helen Little, love her so much. Sarah O'Connell, thank you so much for everything, guys. Like, they know how much I'm appreciative of them. So went to Philly, did Sirius XM with Moni Love and Jay Ski, and then went to North Carolina. And then in North Carolina, I was on the morning show with Kyle Santillan and B-Dot. And that was fun, but that's when I had my awakening and I had to walk away from radio to get myself together, because sometimes we all go through traumas that wind up, you think you pack it away and it winds up sneaking up on you at some point. And that happened to me at 102 JAMZ as I was on the morning show. Left radio for about 2.5 years, lost 100 and something pounds, opened my garage to women and started training them. I didn't care about me being this girl on the radio life. All I needed to do was help them so I could help myself. And so I just remember telling God, I was like, if you ever gave me an opportunity to get back on radio, I'm going to do good. But I didn't want to go back on radio. And it's funny because my boss, Brian Douglas in North Carolina, called me one day. He's like, hey, Tosh, remember we talked about you being on the radio out of the blue? And I'm like, no. I'm sitting there making some chicken for meal prep. And it looks like chicken jerky now. And I'm like, no, I don't remember that. He said, come in tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And suddenly I was back on the radio. And it's almost like him and Dot were plotting something. Something good, something that I didn't know I needed. And then I came back into the radio and it was perfect timing because at the time Waleed was doing nights there, afternoons, excuse me. And Waleed wound up leaving. He's doing his thing with his label and then, of course, Empire Records. And I cracked the mic and it was like I was back home, but better. So that's pretty much in short my journey. Of course, being a mom, at the same time, fixing my mental health. But that's how I got back into radio. And I tell you, I'm happy for the break. I'm happy for the letdown. I'm happy for humbleness that I had to have when I left 102 JAMZ and then later came back to 102 JAMZ because it helped me to be a better person. But that's my short story when it comes to radio and how I got into it, and I'm addicted.
What made you want to get into the programming side, like the management side of radio?
I love helping people see the better parts of themselves. It's something that feeds me. I know that sounds crazy, and I didn't even know that accidentally happened. And so I think I realized that in North Carolina when I was on a morning show as I was exiting. And then coming back, I was like, you know, I think for me and Morgan and Tisha Ray, love these girls. Oh my gosh, we would all have conversations because we have to lift each other up.
Right, that's true.
We would have conversations and they're like, Tosh, you're inspiring me so much, but they didn't know that they were inspiring me too. And so I felt something when I would help, you know, someone, like before you get on the radio, it doesn't matter. There's many people in the industry that though they crack that mic and they have a fire break, they still need a little talk, you know, beforehand. Sometimes they're not feeling it. Sometimes they're not able to leave that situation at home at the door before they crack the mic. And that's what we did. And I felt something in that. I was like, you know what? I think I want to help people be the best that they could be in this industry. Mind you, I love computers. I love the puzzle that I get to put together every single day of our station. And I want to create a bunch of centillions, a bunch of myself, a bunch of B-Dots, a bunch of Roxys. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to create a bunch of great leaders and people, but showing them who they are at the same time. Like they create themselves, but I'm just saying those are the great examples that I would like to do, and I will. But that's why I'm in radio. I love helping people see the better parts of themselves, even if you have to be reminded 25 times a day. I do that now. But to help somebody feel their best is more than a blessing. It's a feeling you can't even put into words. And that's why I love where I am and where I'm going in this industry.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, especially bringing out the best in people, because now that you're in a position to kind of like see and teach talent and kind of coach them to the best things, what are some of the things that, you know, a lot of program directors and assistant program directors look for in the upcoming talent in radio? Because even though radio is not a dying business, but it's an ever-changing business.
Ever-changing business, exactly. It's a lot. You're looking for good energy. You know, we're all human, so we're not going to have the best days, but someone that has better days than less bad days. That makes sense. Attitude is everything. If you're not coachable, there's no way we can help you be your best or go where you want to go. Somebody that's willing to work. I mean, I'm a mom of 3. You know, my daughter has her own place in Oceanside, California. I got 2 dogs because I'm not having no more children. But my point is I have a full schedule. And if I can prep the night before for my show coming up the next day, we need somebody that can do that as well. When it comes to the upcoming talent, there's so much talent. There's from Binky to Vayadi, to Vicky, there's so much talent out there, to you. But we look for people who are hungry, people who know where they want to go. And of course your lane can change, but people that have that fire in them, the no excuses, you know, you're willing to just get the job done, but have fun doing it.
Now, how big of a part does social media play into that? Because I had my last panel, digital creators panel. We talked about diving into the world of, like, if you're in entertainment, period, especially radio now, you should have a social media palette, you know, especially the big 3. So how important is that for radio on the programming side? Do you look at that as a portfolio? Do you look at their following numbers, the engagement? Do you check all those things out?
For me, I think consistency. I think, you know, it's funny. In the industry, time to play a record or somebody, you know, for an artist, you always go to YouTube and you're like, oh, their YouTube is not, you know, it's not moving. I don't know about that one. People aren't hearing it. But I think for me, I don't always think like everybody else. I go to your social media, you're consistent and you care about, if you keep posting and don't care about the likes, trust me, they're watching. That matters to me. Your content matters. I'm not a person that really so much eyes over your following. But of course, we can help you get that up. But your consistency, your captions, your feeling that you're, you know, how much you're sharing of you, depending upon who you are and what your branding and marketing is for yourself, that matters to me. But I wouldn't say that would put a dent, because we can always fix that if you're willing. Because some people don't like. You'll be surprised by, there's folks in this industry that do not like social media, period. They do not want you to know about their personal life. And I think even for me too, it was hard. I remember Dot and Kyle were like, you need to make an Instagram. You still have MySpace, like just teasing. But I was like, I don't want people in my life. But the thing is, you don't have to share that. They already think you're sharing enough. So your consistency, your content, I think, and your creativeness matters. You don't have to go crazy about it, but just your content, your creativity, it matters because that shows me your personality in some sort.
I agree with that.
When you, like I said, when you can't speak, this is speaking for you. We get to go through it. We get to see how people react to you or your conversation or how you are in the community or, you know, your crazy funniness in the studio. Like, we get to see that. And some people don't want to do TikToks. Like, I love that you do that. You know what I mean? I love that you're fun with it and you embrace your beauty and who you are and your personality. But some people don't want to do the dancing. Some people don't want to do the fun stuff. Yeah. But for me, it's just consistency, creativity, and I don't care if you got 500 followers. We'll figure that out.
I agree with that because a lot of, especially like big markets, they look at the numbers, the followers and stuff. And I'm like, okay, but not to be funny or rude. You know, they have great followers and stuff like that. But then the talent themselves is like mid, you know, and that's why I asked that question, you know, that really matters or plays a part into hiring. And I know it's different for everybody else. Yeah. So I want to go into the next part of this and ask because of the fact that you are a woman in programming. It's not a whole lot of us. We were talking about this earlier, especially because you have like Thea Mitchum, who's over Power 105 in New York, over iHeart and Z100. And then,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then the recent hire of, I don't want to say her name incorrectly, but on Instagram, she's called Wild Beta, and she's now the new program director of KISS 102, took over after John Ivy, which is really huge because it's the number one.
It's inspiring.
Exactly, and it's the number one pop station in the country. I mean, well, tied with Z100. I mean, iHeart. Either way, you're
right.
If you're at Z100 or KISS, you're gold, right? And so what are some of the obstacles that you've had to deal with as a woman programmer?
During COVID, it was right before I got COVID. That was like, October, November. I think it just, I feel sometimes it takes a little longer for women. And not even in a negative way, but for me, I get along with my label reps. You know, there's one that I like to mess with because he likes to mess with me. But I get along with my label reps. Even before I jumped into this position in Denver, when I was in Colorado and Mo would bring people in, I get along with everybody. And if you don't mesh with somebody, you just don't mesh with them. But in the industry, I think for women, it takes a little bit longer, but I feel like it's here. Like we were talking previously, I feel like there's a shift coming. I feel like there's a shift of great women who are going to be coming into play. And when I saw Thea's post, I thought, oh my gosh, the timing on that was incredible because I was just telling you, I just had a conversation with someone. I was like, I don't know. I feel like, you know, the women who are working, the women who are showing, the women who are confident, the ones who are like, listen, let's go. We're getting these chances. Right. And when we get these chances, we're filling these shoes accordingly. Like we're doing really, really good. I work with nothing but men in my building. I'm the only woman in management. And I'm so thankful. Like, you know, my bosses are incredible, from John Fulham to Mike Peterson to, you know, DJ Buck. I work with really great men. And for me, I feel like the sky is there's no limit. You know what I mean? But I just feel for women, sometimes it's a little bit slower. And for whatever reason, we'll find out one day. But I feel like there's a big change coming. And for those who want it, those who are hungry, let's go.
Do you believe that upper management, there's a hesitation in hiring women in these big roles?
I can't say there's a hesitation. When I look at the women I look up to in this industry, they've seen a lot of more things than I have. You know, they've felt a lot of more situations than I have. So for me to speak on a situation I haven't quite felt yet, I don't know if I'll feel it, you know? I just know for me at times, I just wasn't ready. And it's not me trying to dodge a bullet or dodge the question. It's just, I think that when I look at, you know, a lot of the women in industry without naming, they might have been in situations that made them feel like that. I haven't quite gotten there quite yet. And do I think it's going to come? I don't know. But I feel like it's just time to let us be in those places so that we can show other women it's capable. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. I haven't felt resistance quite yet. And if I do, trust me, I'm going to share that. You know what I mean? But yeah. I haven't. I just know that for Tasha, my timing of everything has been whatever God wanted it to be for me. And if I haven't gotten it yet, it just means that it wasn't for me to have quite yet. Right now, I'm thankful, and hopefully it all changes.
I hope so too. So
it better.
It better.
It better.
So the process of longevity and transitioning into that programming stance, how important is it to be able to evolve and adapt?
I think you always have to be a student. And it's funny because I would have never thought I want to be in management. I would have never thought that I would be trying to, I mentor girls I've never even met via social media, right. You know, and these are my sisters, you know, and I'm sure when we get a chance after COVID is out the freaking way, right, you know, but I feel like you have to always be a student. Like it saddens me when I see people think that they know it all in this industry when you don't. I think you're getting in front of yourself. You're blocking yourself, but remain a student. Ask questions, even if you think it's a dumb question. Stay available if you can. You know what I mean? Like this is probably the first time in my entire career that I've moved my family across the United States and told myself I'm not going to purposely make girlfriends outside of this business. And I was like, you know, North Carolina was my heart. You know how everybody is about North Carolina. This is something special. It's not just the food, it's the people, okay? Because God knows it's good there. But I moved here and I said, you know, I'm going to take a leap of faith. I'm going to give this my all because I gave up on radio. And Kyle Santilli was like, are you crazy? Tap Money was like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, dude, I want to help women. They're like, you use this to help women. But moving all the way here, I took a leap of faith and it was hard. It was the hardest thing ever. But I took a leap of faith to learn, ask questions, not just to be on air, you know, and it's funny because I wanted to be the person that was syndicated. I wanted to be in different states. I wanted to be the person that I wanted to be Ryan Seacrest. I wanted to be the female. Yeah. But it's like I got here, I started asking so many questions and I was in so many meetings that most people aren't able to get into. And then there was dialogue after the fact. What did you think about it? What did you learn? What would you like to learn? It's like, I was a student. I stayed a student. And somehow I got into rooms I wasn't supposed to be in at the time because I didn't think I was ready. But obviously there was something and I'm just thankful for those meetings, you know, but stay a student, ask a lot of freaking questions, you know, be fired up, you know, even when you're not. Like there's nothing wrong with asking a million questions, studying other radio stations, other artists, other talent, and staying in a know and just networking, period. Even if they don't respond to you. I've reached out to a lot of people I look up to when I was like, hey, I'm moving to Denver. What do you think about women in programming? Or what do you think about, you know, how hard it is? There's a lot of times I didn't get nothing back. So I had to figure it out myself. You know what I mean? You deserve every bit of it if this is what you want to do.
There was a professor when I was at A&T that always told us there is no stupid questions. If you got a question, ask it. Which gets me into my next part, the pay. I feel, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about this. There's always a disparity in pay across the board, any industry with women and men. But I feel like there's definitely a huge disparity in pay when it comes to radio. And especially with women that have really great ratings. They're doing a really good job. But yet, it's barely enough to get by. Thoughts on that? Like, how can we make a change that upper management sees the value?
Be needed. Like, you know what's crazy? And I know that's not going to be the overall question. Everybody has different answers for that. But you got to make them need you. If you were to walk away, and I'm not saying this for where I am, I'm just saying in general. And it's just for talent that I watch a lot of talent. I look for the next talent. It's like, make a company need you so that we can't lose you because you're just that incredible. We can syndicate you. We can do so many different things with you. We don't want any other company to have you. But negotiate your contract accordingly. Like, of course, is it different? Do we know that? I don't have the right answer to it. You know what I'm saying? I just know that it took me till once I left Philly and I was on Sirius XM, I realized, dude, contracts are everything. You can throw your club, how many clubs you want to do in there. You can throw your bonuses according to your ratings in there. You can throw your cost of your endorsement in there. Negotiate. Your contract says, hey, this is me. This is what I'm going to get. I'm happy with this. And then we'll negotiate later on. But negotiate. And that's the thing is that I think a lot of times, a lot of talent, and I'm going to answer the question of the comparison for men and women. No, but I'm speaking to my ladies, the ones that it's crazy because you know, somebody called me a few weeks ago, was like, hey, Tosh, I'm getting an opportunity here. I'm going to sign this contract. Girl, look over your contract. You know, if you don't understand the language because they talk in all these crazy long, you know, what is that? You can simplify this, okay? But, you know, get a lawyer friend, have them look over it, but throw in the things that you wish. Don't ever not ask for something. It's just like not asking the right question. Mm-hmm. But for us, for the moment, so that we can show them what we're working with, put everything you want into your contract. Now, like I said, is that going to answer your question according to what men get paid and what women get paid? No. Can we ever fix that? I don't know, but I do hope it comes to a point where we do fix it.
Right.
But the one thing I will say, a lot of women, Janelle, you'll be so shocked that people don't read their contracts because they're so excited about the opportunity. When am I starting? Oh my God, what do you mean I'm only making that? I'm not bringing home nothing. Read your contract. Just think that that opportunity is the only opportunity. Respectfully and humbly, you can deny and walk away. But once you sign that sucker,
I definitely, when I was reading my contract, and I had to read it a couple of times
girl,
because somebody else
yes,
recommended the same thing. She was like, read your contract because the contracts really protect the employer more than it protects you. And so I'm like, okay, first time I read over it, I'm a skim reader. So I like
that's because
over
you're in radio. Yes,
yeah, so I'll skim over
yes,
the parts I need to read. And then the second time I was like, once they had the contract actually ready for me, I was like, okay, I need to really sit down and read this. So I'm like reading through it, trying to understand it. And I was thinking to myself the same thing. I'm like, I got decent pay, but I was like, dang, I should have negotiated a little bit more because I do bring a certain amount to the table. It's not like, I don't have any experience at all. And so once I read it the third time, I was like, dang. I was like, okay, you know
girl,
what? I just know I need to work
yes,
very hard in these next couple of years or whatever. And so then when it comes back, and if I choose to stay, I need to negotiate this, that, and the third with it. And then
yeah,
also to like maybe finding a lawyer to help me with that because it really is important, and I never realized either the agent part, like people that actually have agents that help them
yeah,
negotiate. And so
yeah.
that's another thing too. Like women, I don't think a lot of women have agents in this business. Like,
Mm-hmm.
when it does happen, we get hired in a certain market. Like you said, we get excited because it's a great opportunity for
Yeah.
us. But how important is it to have someone that is protective of you? Because, I mean, you can do it for yourself, but to have somebody else
Mm-hmm.
advocate for you to really help you out
Yeah.
is
So
a
you don't
different
have to deal
story.
with all of it. Oh
Yeah.
God, it is. So for me, when I was a artist, I came into the industry and I still had my manager at the time. And I was going through so much. I didn't appreciate what he was able to do for me. But your manager is there to handle all the stuff that you don't need to, because in radio, we need to be as positive and as focused as possible. And now
Mm-hmm.
manager agent, everybody calls it something different nowadays, but it is it if you want to have that, especially when you want to be syndicated. You want to make sure that you're hosting the biggest and most amazing events, right? All
Mm-hmm.
these different types of things, not just concerts, but more bigger than concerts.
Yeah.
So to have somebody speak on your behalf when you're getting some shut eye, that's important. To have someone say, hold on, Janelle, before you sign that, I'll talk to them, give you 2 more days. Let's go through this contract because I think that we can add A, B, and C. Now you're comfortable. It's crazy that if you can see what you would have got being excited and just sign on that dotted line, opposed to what this person could possibly get you. I think if you're gonna dream big and you're gonna think big, then go for your management. If you're just ready to be on the radio and you're happy for the moment, then just do what you got to do, but still be smart with your contract and at least see a lawyer. You know what I mean? But if you're
Yeah.
dreaming big and this is going to be what you want to do till your teeth fall out, you know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
there's some of us that, I'm trying to put this together properly, that just get excited and want to be a star when they crack that mic.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some of us that actually see themselves doing this like you literally can see the people you'll be talking with, dinner. You know what I'm saying? You see
Right.
it. And those are the folks that need to have a team. And that's what it is a team. Right now, I need a manager. You know what I'm saying? It's for me, I had one, but then the move and it was a lot. But now I've been searching for one, but you just don't get one to say you have one.
Yeah.
They got to show you what they can do for you in the first 30 to 90 days.
Yeah.
And it should be written out. So now you also have a contract with this person too. You're going to get me on, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
talk about gossip, or you're going to get me on my local news channel so that I can do their segment on the, what's happening in the world of celebrity entertainment. Like if you want to be big, you got to think big. You got to get outside of what we know and get that. But yeah, there's some folks that just want to crack the mic and be a star. And there's people like you who want to do this. So
yeah, I've been definitely thinking about a team. Like I was like, I need a social media manager. I need a video content creator for myself. I need a producer. Like
girl. Because even for our social media content, I don't know about you, but do you have a lot of stuff sitting in draft ready to go? And okay, because you don't have time, like putting together a caption, that's work.
Right.
And then somebody's trying to talk to you, like, give me 5 minutes and it turns to 20. Like, when you want to go big, you need a team. And that's just my personal advice.
This has been a great conversation talking beyond programming, just being a woman in this industry.
I know.
Any last words to the women that want to get into programming in their career?
Stay focused. Don't take any no's. For every no, there's another back door, and don't let nobody slow you down. Always advocate for yourself. Speak up for yourself with a loving heart, and don't give up no matter who it is.